Welcome to Class Hoosiers, a series made to highlight the hard work and dedication of IU students. Each episode will feature students who go above and beyond to positively impact the Bloomington and IU community. Today we have Akitigan co-president Valeria Simon.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
Can you tell us more about Akitigan and what it is?
Well, Akitigan is a nonprofit organization where we help children with life-threatening illnesses literally feel like a kid again with events that we host called adventures. We usually have one at least each semester, and then that way every family is able to come and enjoy their childhood together.
What made you want to join?
I joined because I feel a calling to helping people, especially kids, getting to do events and put in hours to spend time with kids and put a smile on their face and watch their families, watch them be happy, is something that makes me happy.
Yeah, so freshman year when I was kind of looking at what to get involved in, I found out that my RA at the time was the president of the club, and he kind of, when he was introducing himself to everyone on the floor, talked about his involvement, and I thought it sounded really cool. There was never really anything like that from where I went to high school. There was no clubs that kind of did something similar to that. So I went to the very first call-out meeting freshman year, absolutely loved it, and then the rest is history, just stuck with it.
Yeah, well, I remember I was in high school and I was in another organization called Operation Smile, where we would help children with a cleft lip. So I was like, I wanted to do the same thing here in college because I was like, I love this, but I won't be able to be a part of it anymore because I'm not in high school.
Got a loaded question for you. What impact do you feel like you've had on the organization? And in turn, what kind of impact do you feel like the organization has had on you?
I think as president specifically, so within this past academic year, I've really made an effort to make the club more engaging. So, having more activities at our meetings, not just having it where we're reading off the slides at you and that's kind of it. And, really just making it a place where you can go and meet other people who are, like-minded, also have some sort of philanthropic, drive and kind of want to impact the community around them. I think for me personally, I think it's just made me a better person. I think it's made me a lot more compassionate and self-aware and really just, made me more cognizant of the fact that my actions can have a real tangible impact on the people around me and can really affect them in a positive way.
So I feel like just by giving them and being there for them and being there to talk with them is also a way to give to them. And a way that the organization has given to me is literally that same way, just receiving their happiness, receiving their gratitude, and just seeing how the impact that we're having on the children and the families as well.
What is your favorite event to plan?
My favorite event that Akitigan has hosted would definitely be the Winter Holiday Adventure, which we had last semester up in Indy at a convention center. And basically, we went to this warehouse and they had a lot of games and activities for the kids, prizes. They had a giant tractor that they could climb up on. They had a basketball goal. And we basically worked the entire event, just kind of hanging out with the kids, interacting with them, talking to the families, seeing how they were doing, and just being there with them the whole day was something that was really good for everybody, and myself included.
So definitely the one we had at Assembly Hall, that was, at least with my time with the Akitigan, that was kind of the first big event that we were able to plan. I feel like a lot of the events we go to, the Akitigan Indiana chapter hosts, and we don't really have a whole lot to do with the planning process. So that was really cool. Obviously Assembly Hall is such a historic venue, so to be able to bring our families there, especially kids, a lot of them are interested in sports. It was a really cool experience. We had carnival games, food, a basketball competition. They got to play on the court, meet some players. I think Anthony Leal was there. I unfortunately was not there. I was out of town that weekend, but I heard nothing but great things. And when we ask our members what their favorite event is, most of them will say it's that.
Honestly, my favorite thing was we did an Assembly Hall takeover event last year in the spring, and it was really great to interact with the families and their kids and see the difference you truly can make in the club.
What are you excited for most this year?
I'm excited to be part of a committee and organize some activities, as well as get involved with other clubs on campus. I think that would be a great opportunity to get more people involved in the club.
What are you most excited for?
Probably doing the volunteer events and the fundraising stuff to, get the club more on the ground so they can kind of continue with their mission.
What would you say that your organization's main focus is in?
Well, we definitely try mostly on philanthropy. We want to give back as much as we can. The other, one of our meetings, we had a blanket making. So we made a lot of blankets, tie blankets, that we ended up donating to an animal shelter, but definitely just giving to our community, giving to the people that we care about, and being there for them.
Can you take me back to when you first joined? What was one of the first experiences that you had that you really felt like this was where you're meant to be? This is the organization that you were meant to be in, be a part of, and lead?
Yeah, I think when I really realized I wanted to stay with the club was when I went to the holiday party my freshman year. So it was in late November, early December. So I'd been involved with the club for a couple months, but that was kind of my first introduction to actually volunteering and like seeing the families in person. I feel like a lot of what we did up until that point was fundraising, and I didn't really get to interact with them ever. I wasn't doing anything glamorous. I think I was on like parking lot duty and was like handing them goodie bags as they left. But just being able to like see how happy the kids were, and they were showing us all of their prizes. It was just a really memorable experience, and I think that was the thing I can point to where I was like, okay, I want to get more involved with this and really continue with it through the rest of college.
So these adventures, these aren't just planned out of thin air. Can you walk me through the planning process and what club meetings can look like for someone that's never been?
The club meetings usually start off with like a brief recap of everything going on in the club. We talk about like what we've done in the last 2 weeks, what we plan to do in the next 2 weeks before our next club meeting, because they're bi-weekly. And then we discuss like what we're going to do this club meeting. And then we usually move on to like a service project, like such as like creating cards for the families and kids, making blankets to donate to local animal shelters. And then we also do like trivia sometimes to help everybody in the club de-stress. And also last time we did an aroma therapy session for all the students with midterms coming up to help them kind of de-stress from school.
Where do you see this organization going, or what goals do you have for this organization in the next 3 to 5 years?
Well, hopefully for it to be like more awareness. That's what we're aiming for, spreading the awareness of who we are, not only to the community so that we have a lot of volunteers, but also to everyone, like all the different families who could join, so that they also know that there is a support network and that we're here for them. We just want what's best for them and for them to have a good time as well, and a break. And I think that would be the best. We also want to have more events in the future if possible, and also collaborate more with IU.
I think really just growth and expansion is one of our biggest things right now. Obviously biased as president and been on the exec board for a couple years, but I think our mission is just so important, and a lot of people don't really know about it. I think it can easily get lost within the hundreds of clubs at IU. So just tabling, being more visible to students and letting them know that this is an organization that exists on campus and something that they can get involved in if it's of interest to them. And yeah, really just making it a place where people can find a community. I know that was a really big thing for me freshman year, was kind of like finding my people, just because it's such a big school. And so I think that's kind of where I see the club going.
I definitely see this organization only increasing, because I plan on doing everything I can while I'm here to make sure that I can help grow the club, help kind of set new goals for the club. And I think once people find out our mission, like, I can't think of a person who doesn't want to help somebody, especially a kid with like a long-term illness or disability. So I definitely see the club only growing from here.
This has been another episode of High Class Hoosiers. We'll see you next time.